Plus, it was green and red. So I said, "Oh wow, it's another version of what the white man did and us and this, that, and the third." And I was like, I just took the book, put it in the car somewhere, right? So fast forward a year later, I'm reading a book on black banking because I'm just looking around. I'm observing in this community. Why is it so why don't we have no money? Why does it look? You know what I'm saying? And I literally just moved back from Novi, where I was never asked to participate in the damn cleanup. I just moved back from Southfield. I was never asked to participate in a cleanup, nothing. So I'm thinking about that and I'm looking at our condition. I'm like, where the hell, why don't we have no money? Right? So I get a book on black banking, bought the book, started reading the book. And this book started talking about all this money that's supposed to come to like downtrodden cities and stuff like that, right? Well, I'm like, hell, you can't get no more downtrodden than Detroit. What's where this money at? I know this what the Lord gave me this. He's like, that book, that Black America. I'm like, yeah, that Black America. I said, I bet there's some answers in that book. So I get the book. I'm looking for the book. I'm tearing up the house trying to find the book. I'm like, where the hell is that book? I couldn't find it. So I said, no, what? I'll go get Amazon. Because Amazon got everybody's book. So I bought the book off Amazon, electronic version, read the book. But it took me probably maybe, I don't even think it was 2 hours to read the book. When I finished reading that book, when I tell y'all my whole top of my head could have came off, I was so angry because you can only conclude from the time frame that in the book was says these resources are supposed to be available to our community. You can only conclude that the people that's in control been stealing the money. Right. Or doing other stuff with it, which is really heartbreaking, upsetting, because we're working, we got families. I'm involved since I was 18 years old. We put these people in office, and this is what they're doing to us. Like, where's this money at? So anyway, with that said, it was early Sunday morning. I was on my way to church actually. So I'm like, I know this guy is local. So, like we have block club meetings and stuff, trying to keep the neighborhood together and everything. So I said, this guy is local. I said, I'm going to look in here and see if I can find. So I'm looking through the book, and there was a phone number in there. And I'm like, damn, it's a phone number here. So I said, it was Sunday morning, so I'm like, I don't want this person to think I'm a creep or something, calling early on Sunday morning. So I called the number thinking I'm going to leave a message, so Monday morning, whatever, they get the message, they'll give me a call back. And I called the number. And the person picked the phone. Hello? I'm like, Mr. Jackson? He was like, yeah. I'm like, oh my goodness. I said, I just finished reading your book. I said, would you be able to come to our meeting and, talk to the residents and the neighbors about your book? And he said, yeah. He said he would come. And so that's how I ended up reading the Black America Report, understanding a little bit about politics. I'm still learning. Because as you see on the agenda, it says understanding local politics. A lot of us do not know and understand the implication of these positions we're putting people in. They have our money. You guys, once I read that book, my mind is just, I don't see politics the same anymore, ever, ever, ever again, because you have to see and understand these people have our money. We're putting all this money in a tax pot, and it's not coming to our neighborhoods adequately. So that's a huge problem. And I want to say this too. Ramon Jackson is a candidate. I got his flyer right here. Is a candidate for city council at large. He teaches us politics on Friday nights at 180 Church and on Sundays at 12:30. So I'm just saying that to say y'all are welcome to attend those. We have to become, as he likes to refer to say, political giants instead of political infants. We had a little girl tell Councilman Durhal one time, she said, well, do we have money? I'm saying a young high school girl. Can we have money for this and money for that? And he straight told her to her face, no, we don't have any money for that. So it's like, once we educate ourselves, they can't run game on us. You see what I'm saying? Because they love to tell us what they ain't got, what they don't have, what's not going to be available to us. But yet you can write out and give Dan Gilbert $600 million. And so I know I asked Ramon one time, I said, well, who is it that checks these people, right? That's a naturally occurring question, right? Who is it that checks? And you know what he told me? You. Really? Me. Meaning us, the taxpayer. If we don't check these people, they just won't be checked. They like, y'all ever seen Housewives? Who gonna check me, boo? That's what they saying to us when they're just, thumbing their not paying us any attention. So with that said, that's why we gotta educate ourselves. So that's part of the process, like we talked about in the mission and vision. Y'all got any questions so far about that? I can proceed on that.
What is the name of that book again? I like to read that myself.
Yeah, it's called the Black America Report. And I can ask Mr. Jackson for some. I should have it, but it explains like all the money sources that we put through our taxes, all the money sources that are supposed to be available to us by law, mind you, that our local politicians just flat out ignore.
I found it on Amazon.
Who's the author?
Ramon Jackson.
Oh, he's the author of it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's right on Amazon if you don't go to
Okay, I can get it from Amazon. Thank you.
And it's what I want to say. Oh, he's running for city council too. So this would be an excellent person for us to have on our city council because very versed in fiscal matters. Matters, concerning the money, where it comes from, how it's supposed to be spent. So that's going to be a big key, y'all. People complain like, let me go ahead and get to the voter fraud case. So there's a voter fraud case. We have found evidence, and I'm going to tell you guys. Well, does anybody have any questions right now? Or can I go on?
Okay. So I just wanted to comment. You asked the young man about who checks these people. But if people read the Michigan Constitution, it says the power was inherited in the people. And the people in Detroit, I don't know what's wrong with people in Detroit. They don't vote. They don't stand for nothing. They don't do nothing. They don't help with nothing. And all they do is complain. But we can make a change if we get out and just vote. They won't even do that. But they want to complain about every little thing. And the people has the power to stop everything.
Absolutely. We have the power. We don't have to wait on anybody.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, that comes from they have to be educated and you have to start them young and you got to work from the young. Because sometimes I'm not trying to put us old people down. The old people ain't going to listen, but you can start them young.
Yeah, so, but you guys are right. The power lies with us. We just have to make up our mind, what better example do you have than, I know this is an extreme example, when those people ran up the Capitol steps. I mean, they would just, and it wouldn't even take us to do all that. It's just about, rally, getting together, having a meeting of the minds to say, we're not going to keep taking this treatment from
Right.
you. We're not going to do that. So, but here's the issue. Part of the problem, I don't even say part, the huge issue is voter fraud, you guys. These people have been cheated in office. They have cheated votes. And let me just start with myself. So I found out that my in-person vote in the last primary was changed to an absentee ballot. I have never voted absentee in my entire life. I despise absentee voting. I've never done it. This is a well-known fact with my family. It's a well-known fact with my immediate family. I forbid my sons to do it. I forbid my husband to do it. We always go in person. So when I looked at that, I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I don't vote absentee. So that's just one example. If you find one fake vote, that's too many. That's the same thing I say about bad teachers. If you got one bad teacher in the car, I taught her. If you got one bad teacher, that's too damn many. So, but I say that to say we have more than one person. Mr. Jackson, again, has filed this lawsuit. We went to Washington for a press conference. I was part of that group. 80 Black folks But this don't have nothing to do with no MAGA, nothing to do with white folks with pitchforks talking about, this, that, and the third. It don't have nothing to do with that. We were in the process in 2023 of recalling Scott Benson, right? All of them city council persons needed to go, but we said, hey, let's pick one and focus on one. So we started we looked at Scott Benson. We're going to recall Scott Benson. So in the process of working, this is in 2023 now. So in the process of working on recalling Scott Benson, Mr. Jackson, because he, helped us put the group together, the recall group and everything. We have to pull the voter list to look at, who's in the district and to make sure that we have people in the district to kind of go from that list to get people to sign the petition. So as we're doing that, collecting signatures, Mr. Jackson sees his very good friend on the list. Now I want y'all to think of the most anti-political person that you can think of that you know, be it friend or family, that you know would never, ever even register or cast a vote. That person. That's the person relative to his life that he saw on that list. Someone that you told that you know don't vote. So once we saw that, he comes to the group and he tells us right away, hey, we got to stop the recall. And we of course, we're like, why? He's like, they're cheating. There's fraudulent votes. My friend doesn't vote. He's never voted. Yet he's documented voting in 3 elections, 3 different times.
Wow.
Yes. And then guess what? After he moved away. And then subsequently, he went through that list, started looking at other lists, found other voters. So that's why we had to end up going to Washington to have this hearing it was a press conference. Then subsequently leaving Washington and coming back to Michigan, guess what? I guess someone said, what's going on in Detroit? Y'all better take care of it. So then guess what? Then they gave us a hearing here in Michigan. So we went up for the hearing. Mr. Jackson promoted the information. You guys can see the video on Michigan State government website. But so that's a huge, huge issue. The cheating has to stop. And that is just, so why are they cheating? They're cheating to keep control of our money. All this money on this book, that's why they're cheating, you guys. They have to cheat because they know, just like, it doesn't matter how much money you spend on an election. If you're not connecting with the people, and if there's other people that are connecting with the people, it doesn't matter how much money you spend. They're going to connect with the people who they know and like and trust. So this is our issue. This is why we have flooded streets. And they can look at us and say, oh, we don't have any money for you guys. I mean, you just got to deal with the flooding. And that's not true. It's where because they don't feel like they've been elected, that they're not accountable to us because they know they haven't been elected. This is a whole elaborate system that they got going on. And I'll share this with you guys too. I know we were talking to someone, and you guys remember Benny Napoleon?
Who?
Benny Napoleon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ran against Duggan for the very first time. So we learned that in political class that no one has ever won a write-in candidacy in the history of voting. So if that's true, then y'all want us to believe that Mike Duggan, a little short white man from Livonia, majority Black people wrote his name in on a write-in ballot.
I didn't believe that when they announced it. That just don't happen. A lot of people, they misspell names, and you can't assume that it's him. But yeah, I remember that, and I didn't believe that he won. I mean, think about that. You gonna bubble in. Look, y'all, I got my pencil. You gonna write in Mike Duggan's name, little short white elf. When you got Benny Napoleon name sitting right there, all you gotta do is bubble it in. Boom. We're not doing that. We're not doing it. So anyway. Well, Teresa, how can this happen? I mean, shouldn't there be some controls in place where, it must be a party of people that's, a part of this. So how do you stop this voter fraud from happening? Mentioned, Ben, what you said, Benson? That scenario.
Jocelyn Benson, I think.
No, okay, but what I'm saying, you're seeing these evidence of fraud. Who can we hold accountable? I mean, I know
Jackie Winfrey.
Pardon me?
Janice Winfrey.
Okay, so you saw that situation where Ramon saw his friend on that list. I mean, how do you go to find out what happened, who's at fault, and how this happened? So, but yeah, we know voter fraud exists, but who can we press upon to make sure that these kind of situations don't happen?
Absolutely. And all I can tell you is that if we hadn't done that recall, we would have never discovered it. If we hadn't been out there doing the recall, we would have never known it, because who's going around pulling the voter list after people vote? Not most people. And even when we did pull it, when Mr. Jackson pulled it, we weren't looking for voters fraud. We were looking at who voted in that district so we could get the proper signatures. You see what I'm saying? So the accountability comes down to us. We have to, number one, this is an elaborate scheme, because what they're saying is that they're registered at the state of Michigan as Secretary of State through driver's license transaction. That's what they're saying. They're registered there. And then votes are being cast. So it's a Secretary of State, whatever's going on there. And then the office of Janice Winfrey down there running that thing, because I didn't register. I didn't go register, but now my vote done been changed to absentee. I never voted absentee in my entire life. So the onus is upon us to check these people. And I'm very thankful for Mr. Jackson, because if we had to pay an attorney what he's been able to do, we would just be lost for real.
Yeah.
It'll just be a mute point. So we need to be aware. And I'm going to go ahead and proceed down this list. So with this flooding, I want to connect that just back to the flooding happens because we have cheated people in there that don't care about us, don't connect with what we're doing. They're very arrogant too, on top of that. Have you ever interacted with any of them? If you've ever interacted with any of them, the vast majority of them are very arrogant. They don't understand that they work for us. And so that is why it's crucial that we get new people. But the start is, and we've already started it, that Mr. Jackson found this happening, filed a lawsuit. So now the next step in that is there's going to be a hearing in Cincinnati. We do plan on going to Cincinnati to bring awareness to what's going on, because Mr. Jackson also found a connection between the lead judge and here in Detroit. Do you guys remember Jones Day?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else remember Jones Day law firm? Mm-hmm. They handled the bankruptcy here in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry. So with that, we see that there's a connection there, right? So this lead judge is in charge of picking the judges that are going to hear the case. And so Ramon's been calling that out, and you can see his responses on Facebook. Just look for Ramon Jackson. You'll see, in his classes that he teaches, he posts those there too on Facebook. So, Jones Day, so they're like, there's a connection there with that. Why would Jones Day be in charge of this judge of picking the lead judges? So we're not saying that something fraudulent is happening or could happen, but just we need to be aware of that. Because this evidence, you guys, and I've read it and looked at it, the state has not one, you hear me, not one document, not a driver's license application, not anything to support what they're saying. It's all just talking words. But on our end, we have, affidavits, and I didn't even realize what an affidavit was. Do you guys know what that is?
It's a legal, something to do with the legalship. I don't know how to explain it. I know what it's for. What you do is I can't explain.
Denzel had his hand.
Yeah, it's a statement of fact, basically letting you know what's factual and what's not.
Right.
And it clearly states that if you are lying, you could be prosecuted. You know what I'm saying? So I signed an affidavit and others signed an affidavit because it's true. This is nothing. And again, we have to understand that, we can't let people put the narrative out there. Oh, this is a MAGA thing, or, white folks is talking about this ain't got nothing to do with Trump. This got everything to do with Black residents and voters in Detroit. So we just have to understand. So, and then on the opposite side of that, I have Rally for Righteous candidates. At some point, we're going to plan a rally to be in front of the what do you call it? The election commission, because we really need to fire Janice Winfrey minimally, guys.
Amen.
Yes, minimally. He does not need. How do you oversee your own reelection?
That's part of the problem. She's been there too long. They be there too long. They figure like, ain't nobody do nothing with me. I can do what I want to do.
Exactly. So we have to show our might and our power. Y'all, let me tell you, I'm bold enough to go down there by my damn self with a sign. I don't care. It's say, this woman has to go. Point blank, period. Okay? So don't make me have one person to come with me, but I'm going to do that for real. And anybody that wants to come or is willing to come, you are most definitely welcome. But we have, as Detroiters, we have to make a statement. See, we have to understand, right, the power of social media. When we see this Black woman down there with a sign all by herself, somebody gonna post that. It's gonna go someplace, So, but with that said, I want to also say and talk about number 5, and I want us to remember as adults, a lot of times it's easy to forget about ourselves. Like, what's your dream? Because in this process, we want to make sure that if you have a company or you have some endeavor that you want to do, we want to make sure that you know about and are included in contracts and grants. You guys, that's life-changing money. I was showing one of our resident business owners, she owns a daycare center. And I pulled those contracts out that they have, and I know you guys may not be familiar with this, but Ramon reads these contracts. Also, he has been doing that and talking about all the money that goes outside of the city. One of the contracts was 100% grant to do like a children's program, but guess who got that? It was $87,000. A company in one. Warren doesn't have to put any money in our tax box. And if we were to go out and try to get something, that's what we're looking into. I'd be crazy. So I say that to say, that's another thing, you guys, we have to learn about. Our next meeting, which will be next Thursday, I will try to bring like a packet of them contracts so y'all can see it. I believe they are PDFs on the city's website. So I can email those to you in the meantime, and you just look at the money going out of the city. I mean, contract after contract after contract, millions of dollars in things that we can do too, like landscapers, millions of dollars, and all other avenues too. One of them was to do novelty items. I think that was $647,000 went to a company in Kansas. So this is what is at stake when we put these people in office, and we have to be sure that we're choosing the right people. And that's why we got this. And then I'm gonna say this real quick. So we want to get a core. The August primary. The primary is August the 5th. Primary is very important because guess what, you all? We can stop anyone that we don't want in office. We can stop them at the primary. And because of the attention now that Mr. Jackson has been able to garner on this, they're at least worried, I believe. I don't think they're going to try to run the same old game. Maybe if not this year, but it's going to take us people to work together to stop these folks because Mr. Jackson is only one person. And when you're just one person, they just, what you going to do? Who's going to check me, boo? This is what we have to be aware of. So, and we can end, you guys, if anybody got any questions or concerns or feedback, and then we'll meet again here. And the idea is hopefully to just bring more people that are like-minded and want to see us win, not want to control our money. But what do you think? Denzel's been here before, Kai's been here before. Sean and Jackie, what do you guys think?
Well, I think the agenda that you have is very interesting, very good. But I think we should handle one at a time, maybe like the for the election, because that's huge. That's getting a lot of people involved. So, and that's time. It's time consuming too. So I think we should put the order of the things that's most important to attack and start with that.
Absolutely. And the voter fraud is the most important thing. Nothing else matters. If we don't get that together, it's a moot point.
Yeah. And not only that, I think that originates with the Secretary of State too, because I could just tell you my situation when the election time came. I did apply for absentee ballot. Because I'm a senior and I just, since the pandemic, I've been doing that. I, just didn't want to be among a lot of people. But anyway, I received 3 ballots.
Yeah.
Because I have a hyphenated name, I got a ballot. My name is Jacqueline Sparks Walker. I got a ballot for Jacqueline Walker, Jacqueline Sparks, and Jacqueline Sparks Walker. Wow. Yes. I'm like, I need to go down there and tell them. I haven't had the opportunity to do that, and it's just coming to memory now again. But, so I can see how voter fraud could occur because the system, the computers are not updated. Just like Trump says, there's a lot of people getting Social Security as deceased and stuff like that. And that's probably true because when you're looking at the election thing, it's not updated. Why did I get 3? They should have my name right. My birthday is birth date and year is the same. My address is the same. Someone could have said, wait a minute, there's 3 ballots going to this person at this same address. Yeah. So it needs to be cleaned up. So that is huge.
And Jackie, you know what? As far as there's those 3 people voting there. I would challenge you and everybody here. Go down there and get your voting record. Pull it. Let me ask them. Ever seen a voting record? Ask for the one that there's one that they'll certify with her name on with whatever the voting lady. They'll certify with her name on it. So you guys, when you get a chance, go down and ask. Just to see what it looks like.
They will provide that to you.
Absolutely. I didn't know it either until I learned it from Mr. Jackson. We learned that from Mr. Jackson. So,
that's cool.
Okay. Go down there, ask to retrieve your voting history, and look at it. But anyway, you guys, thank y'all so much for coming on. We'll meet again. Let's try to maybe encourage others to come and meet with us, and we need to take some action for sure. We need to getting to the point where I was saying April 22nd is when all the candidates have to have their ballots turned in. So once those ballots are turned in, so there's 2 parts to this, right? We got to stop the voting fraud, and then we have to put in righteous candidates. That is going to take us vetting people, right? So for me, whenever there's a vote, and this has been going on for years with me, and I'll say there's other people like that too. I have my family and friends and neighbors. They call me and they say, "Who should I vote for?" This happens to me all the time. So I'm like, well, I know if I just tell people, "Hey, vote for this person," they're gonna do it because they call me all the time, and I'm like, I know it's other people that's like me, that. Because they're not going to vet or read or do anything with that. They're just going to look to those people that they know and trust to tell them who to vote for. So that's why it's important that we build this organization. And it's also very important because once we have the number that we keep, guess what? We can call people and say, hey, we're meeting at this particular, just for instance, my office. I'm up here signing people's petitions because that's a process, right? you got to collect votes. But if we got 1,000 strong votes, they can just come up and sign a petition for who we endorse as the righteous candidate that we should support.
Okay, before you go, Teresa, my daughter just told me that you're running for something. So you gonna let us know?
I wasn't gonna mention that, but yeah, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm actually collecting signatures, which is for Janice Winfrey's spot, and that just
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
For Janice Winfrey's spot.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and just that came along for a couple reasons because this is very important. And then I looked at the other people. There's only like 3 other people even challenging her, and so after just careful consideration, I said, well, let me just go through the process, get the signatures, you know, and if everything is divine order, I'll get on the ballot, and then I can start campaigning and doing that way. But yes, Jackie, I'm for sure doing it.
So. Congratulations, that's great, and I'll put that as the top of the agenda. So we can get you in office.
Yes, ma'am. That would be great. Hey, guess what? When y'all come down there, it's gonna be coffee and seating and lighting and music playing and welcome. I'm saying, come on back here. Look at all what's going on. And, you know, we'll have days like that where people can come in and tour. We have to be very transparent about this voting thing. You know, this is just ridiculous.
And we can stop the fraud.
Absolutely. Our ancestors fought too hard for us to have the right to vote, for us to just punk out like some punk asses. Oh, they're voting. Okay.
Right.
Oh, I'm going on by my day. I'm doing that. Like, it's one of these things where you can't unsee that. I've seen it now. What the hell? So anyway, y'all, I can go there. I'll just say that. But I'm so thankful for y'all coming on. Let's build this. Let's stop this cheating. We have to do that. I will be going to Cincinnati. I did go to Washington as well. I went to Lansing last week. Whenever these issues come up, I will definitely tell you guys about it. If you want to come, you're more than welcome. It's probably the majority of it we're going to be driving, right? Because it's not far to go to Cincinnati. That's a day trip, right? There and back.
Right.
So, not like you got to spend a night or anything. It'd be good to hang out with other like-minded people, you know, and actually see some things improve. We want to make Detroit the Black Mecca. You know, we want people to be like, slamming the gear. Oh, I'm going to Detroit for real to live, you know, because we want to make that people get what they're supposed to get, what they're entitled to by law. So, thank y'all so much for
coming. Thank you for hosting.
Listen, feel free to reach out anytime, and I'll make sure that you all got my number. I want to make sure I have y'all phone number. And we'll connect. Look, I tell my student I say hello.
All right, you guys have a good evening.
Okay, all right.
Bye. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Bye-bye.
All right.